On today's episode of WatchJRGo, I am here with a Mercedes that looks like a basic C-Series, but under the hood, it's not what you expect. Or maybe it is. It depends on whose channels you watch. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today I am here in the beautiful, sunny, and very warm Chicago, Illinois with Alex.
What is up, guys? I am legit streetcars.
Yes, that's what you have to say. That people get mad at me for saying that, but if Tavares gets to say I am Tavares, then I get to say I am WatchJRGo.
That's right. I say the exact same thing in every video.
See? Also, it's not exactly that warm.
It is, dude. It's January.
It's January.
Like, this is insane.
And 50. So we're here with your Mercedes, and it's pretty special. I'm going to show you guys all of that here in just a moment, but tell me about the car a little bit.
Okay, it's a 2004 C240 4MATIC. That's what the title says, and that's what it looks like.
All-wheel drive.
Yeah, it was originally all-wheel drive, so it had a very weak V6 engine.
Yep.
Very reliable, though.
Very
reliable. They plucked that out, and the automatic 5-speed transmission, and they installed a K24 Honda engine with a turbo and a 6-speed manual transmission out of a Chevy Colorado.
And it's no longer all-wheel drive. It's now rear-wheel drive.
Rear-wheel drive only. 402 wheel horsepower on the dyno. So this thing rips.
I love this car because it's basically an enclosed version of my Aero Atom, except the engine's in the front instead of in the back. So it makes good power. It's got the the same little turbo setup, and I'm gonna go drive this thing and show you around all of it real quick.
It's wicked.
Yeah, it should be pretty fun.
You gotta see this engine.
Yes, I mean I've got this here. It's time. All right, we're gonna open up the hood here. You see, you got a lifted truck.
It is lifted.
Aesthetic going on.
Yeah,
here.
It's lifted. It's missing the sway bar as well. It's a swap. There's stuff that needs to be done. But here she is in all of its reliable Honda glory. Big yellow
powder-coated valve cover, but it looks awesome. And of course, a custom-built manifold to feed this turbo. It's actually really well done on the manifold side, I think.
The welds like aren't the best, but like the design of it is great.
Gets the job done.
Yeah.
The ECU is held in by gravity, but hey, that works out.
Yep. There used to be an air box that held it in, but that wasn't much better.
Yeah. I believe it. And was this meth injection?
This is the pump for the coolant. Yeah, this is the water to air intercooler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the water to air intercooler pump.
Yep.
And
boost control hiding down there.
It's got it. Yeah, look at it. I mean,
it's got a monstrous water to air in here, and skunk tooth, throttle body, 4-bar map, all kinds of really cool parts to make this happen. And if you don't know what any of that means, it just has a great list of parts to let this thing make a ton of power with a pretty economical turbo setup.
Yeah, I mean, we added up like a conservative like $8,000–9,000 in parts alone. I paid $6 grand for the car. Clean title, 88,000 mile Mercedes with good. I mean, the heated seats work. Everything in the interior works. It's got air conditioning still.
Oh wow!
So
they kept the AC. And I mean, he said he paid $6 grand. That ECU right there. I mean, it's $2,000 and used $1,000+.
That's insane.
So, yeah.
And then I found out the screen, the dash
at least
screen thing is what, like 7? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
700.
Yeah.
Does the ABS work?
I think so.
Wow, they really kept a lot of stuff working on this car. So we just spent a good amount of time working on it. Now we get to take it out, take it for a spin, and see what this car is about. So I'm ready to go have some fun.
All right, cool.
Thanks for letting me drive it.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Oh, we did the hood struts.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was the most important part of the whole video. So more fun things about this build. It's actually on like brand new Michelin Pilot Sport AS3 tires. A really solid all-season tire. Kind of strange to put on your race car, but I'll give them some credit. They're new, and it's on AMG wheels. The AMG wheels look great. And now we can hop inside and see what it's like to be in a Honda-powered Mercedes. And the answer is, it's pretty Mercedes. So most of the interior is exactly what you would expect. Normal auto down windows, nice controls, some burl wood in there. The lighting controls are factory, and everything else kind of looks factory. All of your Mercedes buttons there. The radio that everybody loves, if it has, there we go. Power eject, the screen flips down, and your cassette is right there. So at least you got aux in if you need a radio. Now the cluster is where things get very different. We're gonna turn this thing on, and she is going to boot up here. It takes just a second. I just worked on the cluster for a while, and we've got it fixed. I don't know if I got the ignition on. Do you have to actually turn it on? There we go. All right, so the dash has to boot up for just a moment here, and it has an exact copy of the Lamborghini Aventador's gauges there, which I think is very hilarious. First thing I noticed, I was like, oh, it's the Lambo tack. So the numbers, the design, everything is exactly the same. And of course, it gets all of this data from the ECU via CAN, and it has a lot of data. Intake air temp, battery voltage, AFR right there, water temp, you know, all the cool things. And it even has a ethanol content meter there. I don't think that's actually in the fuel system at all, but it can have that data. So we have some auto climate control down here under the radio, and this is where things get very swappy. A very, very aftermarket shifter with a linkage that runs up to that Colorado transmission. So you can see that rod there that runs the shifter, and there's a sway bar in link at the bottom of this actual shifter, which is pretty funny as well, if you look under the cover there. So the shifter, very notchy, but it's working pretty well. We did a lot of work on that today too, and kind of got that sorted out. This is the start button, which is pretty hilarious. I'm assuming the old ECU managed the start from that key or the immobilizer, and they figured the best way to start the Honda was just to put a button on the starter relay there. The center console, still very Mercedes there. It opens in multiple directions, very cool. Many of you have been in these cars. I don't need to open up the glove box or anything like that. It is a C-Class Mercedes, and there's usually nothing too special about a C-Class. We do have the privacy screen in the back and HomeLink on the mirror and a sunroof, but there you go. That is a C-Class. Let's get this thing out on the road and take it for a drive. Like Alex said, the heated seats still work. We got the screen to move earlier. The headrests don't flip down. That's the only problem I could find in the interior. I don't know why that release would ever break, but it gave up. So here's how you start up your Honda swapped Mercedes. Clutch in, key on. We'll give it just a second here. Honestly, you don't even need to wait for the screen. You can start the car whenever you want. There she is. And any second now, the screen should power up. There it is. We spent a lot of time today working on the clutch, screen, dash. Peter modified the dash. I was up here bleeding the clutch, rerouting GPS wiring. A lot of work went into this car today. So let's hope it pays off. Hey, we got the dash fixed, but it's in kilometers per hour instead of mile per hour. Well, that's unfortunate. Earlier today, we had no speedometer, and of course, without wheel speed sensors or vehicle speed, which this thing does have provisions for, you really have no luck having a speedometer without GPS. GPS makes that super simple. You just need an antenna. I loved my Aero Atom and how it delivered power. It was a ton of fun to drive, but you couldn't park it anywhere because there were no keys. It was just a race car, so you had to have an eye on it no matter where you were. And with this, you pretty much get the same drivetrain, but with protection from the rain. So in 2004, when Mercedes built this car, it made a blistering 168 horsepower, yet this car with the K-swap has been on the dyno making over 400, I think 404 horsepower. So it's pretty small, it's pretty light, and it's got a turbo and some power. Let's see what that's like. We'll try to make a third gear pull here in Mexico. I think we've still got a little bit of air in the clutch here. We worked on it for a while and we had it pretty much sorted out, but when you get on it, for some reason the clutch gets a little worse. So I tried to grab a gear there and it wasn't happening, but now that I'm driving it around normally again back in Chicago, it seems absolutely fine. I don't understand it. I know the speedometer says that it's in kilometers per hour, but after looking at this for a minute, it is in miles per hour. We did get everything correct there. So I'm sure you noticed how fast this thing was in third gear. It's an absolute monster. That I honestly think that's where these things shine, especially when you've got boost by gear. And in third gear, you're really up in the boost, and they can really start to be the monstrous cars that they are. I gotta talk about how cozy it is in here. Here we're in a traffic jam with a Mercedes full of dudes.
a Honda Mercedes.
A Honda Mercedes.
A Honda Mercedes, if you will.
Hey, you gotta say it's capable.
Ah!
I see what you did there.
Daily driver. This thing's fast with 5 people in it.
It is fast.
Wow. Well, there you have it. What might be the most fun Mercedes C-Class I've ever driven, because turbo Honda, boost lag, it's got all kinds of cool, quirky things about it, and it just is a lot of fun, I gotta say. And it makes big, big power. Very few cars like this in the world, and I love it because it looks like a stock Mercedes on the outside. You'd never know that this is a real sleeper, and it's a heck of a sleeper, I gotta say. That wheel gap in the front, it's a little crazy because obviously they changed like the spring height to accommodate for their new subframe. A lot of modifications were done underneath it. The Colorado transmission to facilitate the rear wheel drive from the K-Series is hilarious. There's an adapter plate in there, all kinds of crazy stuff, but it works. And it's definitely a sleeper you could go hurt some feelings with out on the highway. And for $6 grand, you could go play with big, big cars. 400 horsepower, pretty lightweight. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. A huge thank you to Legit Street Cars for letting me drive this thing, go have some fun with it, work on it for a bit, install hood struts, my favorite thing to do. And now I'm hopping in the Caprice PPV that I've done a review on before. I will link it below. And that's one of his cars that I love driving as well. It's just an absolute blast. So don't forget to head on over to shop, WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. AP1 F20 S2000 Craftwork Supercharged versus the base swap Mercedes over here. You can see Alex is over there 1-2 transmissions because this thing has a great transmission. RPF ones in a really cool, like a tinted chrome. Car looks awesome. But we got to hear them both.
Do what? Interior?
Yeah.
Want to see that?
It's just a,
It's pretty simple. I mean, it's not really.
is it a stock radio still?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not gonna let him win.
We've dropped the top real quick.
Oh man, so clean. I gotta say, the S2000 might sound cooler.
I gotta say, I like the road exhaust of the Honda.
Anyway, if you guys have never seen the S2000 interior, it's one of the Honda's most creative interiors because it has this volume control over here and all these controls for the stereo that's actually in the center of the car. Super
trunk.
cool. Oh, what do you have, a system in here?
Yeah, just a little system.
Oh, nice! The classic 90s, early 2000s system. Alpine V-Power with the kicker comp 10. This thing is really cool. Who would have thought Chicago could be 50 degrees in January? And somehow, I'm not home, but it's 60 degrees there. Makes no sense. Tomorrow, we are going to fix his ML55, and I think that's going to be my driver for the rest of the week here. I basically fixed the whole car for you, right?
You basically fixed the entire car,
So.
and now I'm gonna find out, did we fix the clutch? That's the important part.
All right.